Okay guys, so now I'm behind the wheel of the new Mini Cooper SE. I've had a chance to drive the car back and forth from Miami to Fort Lauderdale, and I can share with you some of the impressions. First of all, let me remind you the drivetrain in the car. It's based on the BMW i3. So we're talking about 181 horsepower, about 189 pounds-feet of torque. Mini says that you can run with the Cooper SE from 0 to 62 miles per hour, 100 kilometers per hour in about 7.3 seconds. And actually the most important figure, it's the 0 to 60 kilometers per hour, which gives you a time of 3.9 seconds. So that's quite quick. That's actually what you need for driving in the city, for quick overtakes. And that's what really makes an electric car fun to drive. And have some experience with the i3. I've been driving an i3 for the last few years, and that's one thing that I enjoy the most, especially in the city. The instant torque, just floor that pedal and the car will just sprint. It will just go and go, and you'll just have a lot of fun with it. Now, as far as the driving experience, this is still a Mini, so you will get that Mini Cooper go-kart feeling. The car, it's actually well balanced because of the 94 battery pack, which is shaped in a T, makes the car sit a little bit lower to the ground. And the distribution right now from front to rear, it's 50-50. So you can feel the go-kart feeling, especially when you're going into some tight corners. You know, not that many around Miami, but especially when you exit the highway, you get that loaded front nose, a little bit of understeer, but still a lot of fun to drive. So that's definitely a plus for the Mini Cooper. If you go on the highway, right? So I mean, that's maybe some of you will want to take longer trips, which a longer trip in this case, it's really about 110 miles before you need to charge. But the car just runs really smooth on the pavement. Same thing if you need to change lanes quickly, that's when the instant torque will definitely help you, and that's something that you will enjoy. Honestly, if you wouldn't know that you're in a Mini electric, you will literally get the same feeling that you would get in a regular car, minus the noise, of course. The steering, it's nicely weighted. It's got plenty of feedback, especially when you go into the sport mode. There is a green, mid, and a sport mode. And if you go to the sport mode, you're gonna get that stiffer steering, a little bit heavier. And the throttle response, it's also been changed. It's more responsive. You're already getting that instant torque, so it makes it even more fun to drive. So if I do now, basically I'm in sport and I can just floor it and the car just goes. I mean, and that's the beauty of an electric car, right? I mean, you can use it as a city car, and it's nice for quick lane changes. That's gonna help you, especially since it's quite quick from 0 to 40 miles per hour. And if you're on the highway, same thing. If you have to change the lanes quickly, if you try and take around between other cars, that instant torque, 188 pounds-feet of torque, will certainly help you achieve that. So that's the beauty of electric cars, aside, you know, from being eco-friendly and all the other things. Nothing else really changes. The suspension stays the same, the shocks and everything else is just the same in every single mode. But once again, it's the typical feedback, steering feedback that you would get from a Mini. Of course, if you want to be on the sporty side, switch over to sport. It's also really nicely balanced. So the car, it's actually 50-50 front rear, and that's because of the battery pack, which is in a T shape. It's based on the 94AH pack from the i3. It's placed really low on the floor, and basically it also lowers the car a little bit, so you're getting additional driving dynamics through that. And I can tell if you're gonna feel that if you drive a Mini Cooper, a gasoline engine with this one back to back, you might feel it, you might not, but one thing for sure, you're not missing that famous Mini go-kart feel. Electric cars are a little bit different, so you're also getting the brake regeneration, which is quite cool on this one because it has 2 stages. The i3 only has 1, so you have a high and a low setting. The nice part about the high, that it's more aggressive than on the i3, so technically it should regenerate a little bit more, but it also has a low setting which will actually be lower than on the i3. So you're getting the best of both worlds, right? So if you want to be more aggressive, go to the high. less aggressive, you know, normal drive, just go to the low. Honestly, I'm used to electric cars, so going into the high setting, it does not bother me. Some people might feel like they're jerking them around a little bit too much, so you can always switch over to the low setting when you ride with somebody or until they get used to it. So that's kind of the beauty of this one. If you really care about saving the energy, regenerating energy, and you care about that, getting that extra mile of you know, distance, then definitely go to the highest setting. It'll be more of an aggressive braking as you drive, but you'll get used to it. As I mentioned, you know, battery pack 94Ah, the range 110, so that's well known. And then let's talk a little bit about the you know, charging. So if you want to charge from 0 to 80% with a DC fast charger, it takes up to 50 kilowatts. Then basically you will be doing that in anywhere from, you know, 0 to 30-40 minutes, and it will charge about 80%. If you want to go full charge by using a regular 110 home outlet, that will be taking you about 24 hours to fully charge the car. And if you do take advantage of the DC charging on a 240 volt, you know, charging station, you can go from 0 to 100% in about 4 hours. So same as most of the electric cars, honestly, if you do have access to a fast charger, simply go there, charge from 0 to 80% while you're doing your shopping maybe, or even a coffee, and then basically disconnect, and the last 80% to 100% you can just charge it at home. And that way, let's assume that you're paying for the charge, you don't have to pay extra for the fast charging to wait till 100%. Just, you know, charge 80%, go plug at home. Well, it might be cheaper to actually charge it from 80 to 100%. So that's kind of cool. It also has the precondition function, so if you have it plugged in into a level 2 240 volt or higher, you can use the preconditioning function. So basically, let's say that it's really cold and you want to warm up the battery pack, so you're getting more range out of the car, and also to warm up the cabin, use the app, use the navigation system to set it up, and it will start to precondition the car before your desired start time. You can also do it on demand, so that's really cool feature. Inside the car is the typical Mini design. Basically, you have two digital displays, you know, the center console, one behind the steering wheel. They're customized for electric cars, so you will essentially get some special indicators that will tell you the energy, the e-power. If you're driving too fast, you will show a gauge that will tell you, you know, if you slow down, you'll be able to charge the battery. Of course, you're getting a digital display for the battery pack charging. It's kind of cool. You have a few yellow accents all around, which indicate that you're in a Mini Cooper SE. If the yellow, it's not your cup of tea, I spoke to Mini and they said that you could actually go through Mini Yours, which is the Mini individual program. So you can change a few things here and there to really customize it to your preference. So in the back, there is not much space. I mean, it's just like the regular Mini Cooper. So it's really a car for two, but for short distances, which this car is meant for. You can have a couple of people in the back and they will be just fine. I'm quite tall, 6'3", 1.9 meter tall. So, I mean, there is not much space behind me, but on the passenger side, there is still some space. Of course, cargo space, because of the shape of the car and the battery pack, there is not much there, but I think you can fit two small carry-ons without any special adjustments. If you want to have more space, simply lower the rear bench, the rear seats. It's not fair to compare it to the i3, but I'm still gonna do that just because I've owned 3 i3 so far, so I have a little bit of experience with that. Basically, the i3, it's also a rear-wheel driven car. So when you drive, you get a little bit more of a tail spin, especially if you have summer tires and, you know, they're not warmed up properly. So you're getting that BMW tail movement a little bit, absolutely different. Because of the super narrow tires, the i3 can be challenging to drive on the highway a little bit. You can see the car shifting to the left or the right if there's some high winds, but that's kind of how the car drives, so you get used to that as well. The Mini uses normal tires. It's well planted on the ground. You don't really feel any lateral movements. So front wheel drive, of course, you're gonna get that character, as I said earlier, go-kart feeling, exactly what you expect from a Mini. And I think the best part is that, like I said already, you don't even realize that you're an electric Mini. You're just in a Mini. So if you're accustomed to that driving experience, you will enjoy driving the car. Let's talk about the range. So we did about, looking right now, back and forth, we've done close to 100 miles. So, you know, we drove quite efficiently, not too many high speeds, and we still have about 15 miles left on the battery pack. So the 110, it's fairly accurate. I think if you turn off the AC, you might be able to stretch a little bit more. If you really drive around 50 miles or 55 miles per hour, then you will be able to conserve the energy a little bit more. If you go higher than 60, then you'll definitely notice on the digital dash that the energy consumption is significantly higher, and you can adjust your driving style based on that. Let's talk about pricing, all right? So pricing starts about $30,000 in the US. Basically, you're getting a $7,500 federal credit that's available nationwide, and in some states you're also getting a EV incentive. So if we look at let's say Colorado, so they're offering $4,000, you know, state credit. Add that to the $7,500, subtract from the MSRP, and you could essentially get the Mini Cooper SE for under $20,000. So to me, that's really the best value proposition, right? You're getting a premium Mini car, but you're also not paying that much money, right? $20,000 for an electric car today, it's acceptable, it's a good price. And especially if the Mini is not your only car, let's assume it's your, you know, second or third car, as some Minis are, then you can't really go wrong at that price. And I think that's the best thing about the Mini Cooper SE. When you look at the BMW i3, if you get one with the range expander, it can go into mid 50,000s, 55, even close to 59K, which is quite expensive. Of course, there are a lot of incentives there, you can bring it down, but it's still significantly more expensive than the Mini Cooper SE. Battery wise, it gets, you know, a warranty of 80 years. So basically you're guaranteed a certain amount of battery capacity in 8 years. So that's kind of cool. And that's about it. I mean, that's kind of what the Mini Cooper SE it's all about. I definitely look forward to driving the car a little bit more. I think I want to take it to an autocross. I've talked to the Mini engineers earlier, and they've actually autocrossed the car a little bit, and they said it was a lot of fun. So I look forward to doing that. It's definitely got that instant torque that will help you achieve the best performance on an autocross. That's it from my side. Once again, and thanks for watching. Thanks for being a fan of BMW Blog. We cover BMW Mini and Rolls-Royce news. We always encourage you to subscribe to our channel, like our videos. It definitely helps us keep moving forward. We'll bring you a lot more videos coming up. We hope to do a back-to-back comparison with the i3 sometime in the near future. We'll be looking at the Mini Cooper SE with some other EVs on the market. So stay tuned for more head-to-head comparison. And for now, thanks for watching. See you soon.